Hari Om. Param Poojya Guruji's book Victorious Youth. Continued reading. Helpfulness. The second important quality is helpfulness. Help others in need in whatever way you can, but first understand the needs of others, but don't force your help on others. Your actions should prove beneficial, not harmful. An old lady got angry at a young boy who forced her to cross the road she did not want to in the first place. Even speaking nicely and politely helps. Encourage, motivate, and work for the welfare of others. Even if you do not help others, at least do not harm them or be an obstacle to their progress. Open and straightforwardness. Our life should be an open book. We should be straightforward in our thoughts, words, and deeds. We should not be crooked and complicated, but pure and simple. We should have a clean mind and a clean conscience. Educated. Adhyayakah. The ideal youth is not merely literate, he or she has a deep love for knowledge. Swami Maharaj left school at an early age but did not give up learning. We hear about saints who had never been to school, but others write theses on their work and get doctorate degrees. Love for knowledge means being very serious about studies and being studious by nature. Most students study just enough to pass exams, some to get distinction, but rare few study to get the essence of the subject. A truly educated youth is literate, have a love for knowledge, and has the courage to dive deep and experiment with it. Inspiring goals and noble aspiration, Asishta. It literally means a supremely hopeful person or one who has high hopes or goals. Generally, when we ask youngsters what they want to be, they say doctor, CA, engineer, and so on. Their goals are limited and self-centered. They are often unsure even of reaching them. If I do not get admission in engineering, I will join catering. Some even say it would be enough if I earn enough to get 2 square meals a day for me and my family. Some want to become millionaires so they would not have to work thereafter. Once a teacher asked her class to write an essay on the topic, If I Were a Millionaire. All the students except one started writing. When asked why he was not doing nothing, why he was doing nothing, he replied, That is what I will do if I were a millionaire. An ideal youth has high, noble goals. J.R.D. Tata wanted India to become an industrial giant. APJ Abdul Kalam desires India to be a superpower by 2020. Some wish to attain divinity, some seek to find a cure for cancer, some strive to eradicate poverty, and some are willing to sacrifice their life to save the flora and fauna of the world. The father of the famous Wright brothers, a Christian priest, declared that Only angels were meant to fly, and that whatever progress science had to make had already been made. His children invented the aeroplane because they wanted to fly. Has determination, Dridishtha, an ideal youth, has a firm resolve to do things. This determination gives him the stamina to walk the path. We need this firm resolve to face all odds stacked against us. Firmness does not mean being stubborn, adamant, and argumentative. With determination comes a deep understanding and strength which prevents us from getting swayed by doubts, temptations, distractions, and desires. Suppose when we choose to undertake a task and start working to complete it, someone comes along and tells us we are wasting time. That person may invite us for a party or criticize our task or find fault with the way we are doing it or laugh at our attempts. Don't we do we give up, get discouraged and get doubtful? Some people are very good at creating doubts in us. We get swayed by distractions and become doubt ridden if we do not have a firm faith and resolve. Supreme strength, Balishtaha. We must be physically healthy and strong. We need not have the build of a boxer, but we must have the physical stamina required for hard work in our chosen field. Sickness is understandable in old age, and very occasionally it may come in youth. But in general, we must be healthy and strong. There is also the strength of character, willpower, and moral guts required to achieve success. Wealthy, तस्येयं पृथिवी सर्वा वित्तस्य पूर्णा स्यात्. The entire wealth of the world is at his or her disposal. Such a statement creates a doubt. How can the wealth of the whole world be at the disposal of an individual? If all wealth belongs to one person, nobody else will be wealthy. It should be understood that all wealth of the world becomes available to one who works for it. One who does nothing gets nothing. सकल पदार्थ है जग माही, कर्म बिना नर पावत नाही. Sant Tulsidas ji. An ideal youth is hard working and resourceful and therefore acquires material wealth as well. If we get what we need at any given time, we are rich. We need not have money with us all the time, but it should be there when needed. If we are able to mobilize available resources whenever required, we can attain anything. Great thinkers have emphasized that our greatest wealth is our intelligence and capacity to work. The youth should understand that the greatest capital is within them and that by its right use, all external wealth can be made available. Even if someone gave us wealth or made us wealthy, and if we misuse it, it would soon deplete and disappear. Really speaking, a country is underdeveloped only because of underutilization of their assets and resources, both natural and human. They have not tapped their potential. The Lord has given everything to everyone, or at least something to everyone, and that is more than enough. Singapore, a small fishing island, and Dubai, a small dead desert land with depleting oil resources, have made a mark in the world through resourceful development. No individual, society, or nation should be poor. We must maximize our potential and attain inner and outer prosperity. The Taittiriya Upanishad declares that such an ideal youth will attain great happiness and fulfillment. We must introspect, live intelligently, and grow holistically to attain joy and fulfillment. Success and victory. Having looked into the characteristic of an ideal youth, we will now explore what is success, safalata, and victory, vijay. We will use these words as synonyms. Success, attainment of one's goal. The simple meaning of success is the attainment of one's desired goal. This may be at the individual or collective level. Since getting admission in school has become so difficult, parents feel very happy when their child gets admission. A student feels a sense of achievement if he secures a first class in his exams or gets admission in a desired college or university. To win a football or cricket match is team success. To win a gold medal or a representative of your school representative of your school, college, state, or country is not just an individual victory but the victory of all you represent. The joy then is enhanced and widespread. When you fight for the cause of good and succeed, it is a victory of the good over evil. Dasera is celebrated as the day of victory of Sri Ram, good, over Ravana, evil. In the above examples, you see that the attainment of one's desired object continues victory or success. The means of attaining one's goal. But how do we attain the desired objects? Nobody wants to fail. Failure is looked down upon. It leaves us feeling low. We all desire to win as it does as it gives joy and is applauded by others. Obsessed with the idea of success, some adopts any means, fair or foul, evil or criminal, crooked or underhand. Some go to any length, even murder, to achieve what they desire. Suppose you pass an examination by copying or win a match by match fixing. Will it give you inner fulfillment, a sense of true achievement? If we adopt immoral, unfair, or illegal means to achieve something, can it be considered true success? Such a victory is not laudable, nor can it be glorified. It cannot inspire others or win respect from others. In fact, respect is lost when they get to know of the unfair means adopted. Athletes have had to surrender their gold medals when tested positive for performance enhancement drugs. stimulants. Nature of the goal. Now let us examine the goal itself. Is the goal worthy, good, or great? Is it ignoble, evil, or harmful? Suppose we succeed in attaining an immoral goal. Is it true success? Can it be glorified? Will it give me an inner satisfaction? Will I get a good name and respect from others? If one successfully committed a forgery, theft, or murder, can that be considered success? Definitely not. Redefining success. So we understand that success is not just attaining one's desired goal, it is to attain a noble and inspiring goal by righteous means. Both the goal and the means adopted must be praiseworthy. Then alone is it true success. It alone results in great joy and inner fulfillment. Example from Ramayana. Let us see this inspiring example from Ramayana. Ravana had set his heart on Sita, Sri Ram's wife, and wished to marry her. His goal itself was immoral. He chose an ignoble way of achieving it by kidnapping her. He did so in the cowardly and deceptive way of disguising himself as a mendicant. He employed others to support and follow his deceptive way. Marriage disguised himself as a deer, lured Sri Ram and Lakshman away from Sita. As Ravan was taking Sita away, Jatayu the vulture saw him. Knowing well that he would be unable to defeat Ravan in battle, he attacked him. As you know, in the ensuing battle, Ravan cut off Jatayu's wings and he fell down, injured and bleeding. In the meantime, Ravan took off with Sita. Let us analyze the situation. Ravan's aim was to kidnap Sita and take her to Lanka. Did he succeed in doing so? Yes, he did. Jatayu's aim was to prevent him from doing so. Did he succeed? No, he did not. So Ravan succeeded and Jatayu failed. But we praise and respect Jatayu and condemn Ravan. What does that show? That sometimes failure in attempting a noble cause is better than success in an ignoble cause. Therefore, Jatayu is an inspiring role model, not Ravana. Immediate goal and ultimate goal. In any action, there is an immediate objective and an ultimate objective, or both. Can one succeed in attaining the ultimate objective without gaining the immediate objective? Will a student not have to pass all the exams and finally become a doctor? Will it be enough if he passes high school? What if the immediate and ultimate goals are contradictory? A student wishing to attend a very late night party and also do well in his final exams. The example of Ravan and Jatayu will help us answer these questions. Ravan's immediate aim was to kidnap Sita, and his ultimate aim was to marry her. Did he succeed in both? Even though he achieved his immediate goal, he could not marry Sita. Jatayu's immediate goal was to prevent Ravan from kidnapping Sita, and his ultimate goal was to preserve the chastity of Sita and return her to Sri Ram unharmed. So even though his immediate goal failed, his, his alone was the ultimate success. The immediate goal becomes a means to reach the ultimate objective. Therefore, true success is not just in achieving immediate or short term goals, but in attaining the final objective, even if one has to face immediate setbacks. One may have to climb down some distance to ultimately reach the mountain peak. One may lose a few small battles in order to win the big battle. Example of India's freedom struggle. Many freedom fighters sacrificed their lives for the cause of India's independence from British rule. The struggle started right from 1857. The Britishers were able to crush the initial struggle but not the spirit behind it. Ultimately, in 1947, India became independent. The freedom fighters' ultimate objective was achieved even though many lost their lives. At times, the ultimate goal seemed too far or almost impossible, with too many odds staked together. The freedom fighters. However, the sun did set over the British Empire. Personal gain and collective gain. Is success only a personal gain? Does society stand to gain from an individual's success? Can society be harmed by an individual gain? Does the individual lose in the collective gain of all? What is true success? Another example from the Ramayana will explain this. Ravan had been defeated twice before Sri Ram vanquished him in battle. The two mighty individuals, Vali and Sahasrabahu, too had defeated Ravan, but they never become great heroes. Even their names and victory are unknown to most. Why is that so? After all, to defeat Ravan was no mean task. This was because their victory was an individual's victory, a feather in their cap, a boost to their ego. Their battle was for personal reasons and served no higher purpose. Ravan's wrong ways and his reign of terror continued unabated. Society in no way benefited by their victory, whereas Sri Ram fought to destroy evil and to protect the good. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, and the deities in heaven showered flowers in celebration when Ravan was vanquished by Sri Ram. His was a glorious victory. He gained nothing materially from destroying Ravan. He could have ruled over Lanka, but he had no such personal motive in the first place and so handed it over to Vibhishan. Summary. To summarize, true success is not just attainment of desired objects. It is to attain noble goals by righteous means, even if it means to face temporary setbacks. It fulfills us and benefits all others. Gita's definition of success. The very last verse of Gita beautifully defines success. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhuti Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. There where the Lord of all yogas and yogins reside, there where bow wielding Arjun resides, there exists abiding wealth, victory, well being, and not well being, and law or values. The Lord represents divine grace and righteousness. Arjun is the upholder of righteousness, one ready to work and toil with determination and faith to achieve his goal. When such a person gains success, it is not only abiding and long lasting, but it also heralds overall prosperity and well being, growth, law, and other law and order and values in society. When the rich grow richer and the poor poorer, such success sows the seeds of discontent, rebellion, and revolution. With prosperity and success, if values are lost, that prosperity does not last, nor does it give lasting happiness. It is often seen that the children of the rich who have themselves toiled hard to become rich, who have themselves toiled hard to become rich, so have no value for hard work and slowly lose all that is inherited. Therefore, true success not only brings individual prosperity but benefits all, both materially and spiritually, with abiding wealth and values. In true success, there is welfare and well being of all. Vision in life. True abiding success and victory comes with right understanding and vision in life. We have to face life day by day, event by event, project by project, but it should be guided by a total and a holistic vision. Why a vision? Our actions and responses depend on our vision. We may not be aware of it, but each of us has a vision in life. We may not be able to articulate it, but we live by it. It can be understood by our actions and how we respond to things, beings, and happenings around us. The nobler the vision, the more an immature vision results in impulsive actions. Also, as our vision, so the world appears to us. Yatha drushti tatha srushtihi. Our vision decides how we perceive our life and the world, which in turn guides our actions and responses. Some have a negative vision and feel that everything is miserable. They become resentful and angry and become bitter by some untoward experiences. Some, despite right vision, may experience untoward experiences, but it makes them better, not bitter. One day, Swami Ramatirtha fell into a ditch as he was walking. He responded, "How wonderful! Rama has fallen in a ditch. He has never had such an experience before. Having fallen, we may as well make the most of it. Learn to walk carefully so that you do not fall again. Instead of crying over a broken shin, do not cry over split milk. That is the right attitude. It is well said that life is a teacher that gives the tests first and lessons are learnt afterwards. If you have the right vision, you learn the right lessons. It means, if not, you may learn wrong lessons. On falling into a dirt ditch, on falling into a ditch, one may conclude if you venture on unknown territory, you might fall, so never do so. Or when treading the unknown path, be careful. Or you can only discover the path and its pitfalls if you try new ways. Types of vision. As we have started, whether we realize it or not, everyone has a vision in life. Each vision has his or her own outlook to life. These visions can be broadly categorized into three: Sattvic vision, good, holistic, pure, noble. Rajasic vision, partial, disintegrating. Tamasic vision, narrow, faulty. Sattvic vision. The Gita 18.20 calls that a sattvic vision by which one sees the one undivided, immutable truth in all the different things and beings. सर्वभूतेषु येनैकं भावमव्ययमीक्षते अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकम्. It is to see the unity in diversity, to know the cause as we experience its various effects. It helps us to see oneness in all human beings, even if we acknowledge the differences of caste, creed, color, culture, religion, nationality. This vision makes us see the one common life principle in it, in all, in all living beings, and one common existence is the entire world. A person once asked me, "Are you a Hindu?" I told him, "I am first a human being, but before that I am a living being, and before that I am an existing being, the same as all existing things like a stone or a book." Rajasic vision. It is an impure, mediocre, or partial vision. The Gita 18.21 says, पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ञानं नानाभावान् पृथग्विधान् वेत्ति सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम्. That vision by which one sees only differences in all things and beings is called Rajasic. Only the differences are given importance and considered real, and the underlying oneness is completely missed. Only the parts are seen and the whole is ignored. Tamasic vision. Tamasic vision is dull, dark, narrow, and faulty. The Gita 18.22 says, Yattu krusnavade kasmin karye saktamahaitukam atatvartavadalpancha tattamasamudahutam. Tamasic vision is that by which a person gets meaninglessly attached to a small thing or being part of this world, considering it to be the whole. Here the part is mistaken for the whole, and the whole cannot be considered at all. One thing or being is given out of proportion importance. Summary: Sattvic vision, unity in diversity, holistic, pure and good. Rajasic vision, mediocre, differential, disintegrating, partial and impure. Tamasic vision, part mistaken for whole, narrow, dull and faulty. The consequence, sattvic vision, when we see the underlying commonness in all diversity, we naturally identify with all and love all. When we love all, we serve all without distinction and conditions. We cannot hate anyone, be prejudiced, or discriminate against anyone. When we see the common core, the Hanuman common core differences become inconsequential. Let us take the example of our own physical body. I see myself in the different parts of my body. If any part is touched, you feel I am touched. As a result of this vision of I, do I not love every part of my body equally, unconditionally, at all times? Do I not serve and attend to any part of the body that feels the slightest of discomfort? Am I partially or prejudiced against? Am I partial or prejudiced against any part? No. I love my little finger more than my thumb. Do I love my little finger more than my thumb? Do I hate any part of my body? Now let us extend this thinking a little further. For every member of the family, parents, siblings, grandparents, there is the feeling of one family, of my family and one family. So we love them and work to provide for them, serve them and do everything to make them happy. Once the children grow and marry, if the feeling of one family is lost, quarrels start and the family disintegrates. Similarly, the vision of one society, one nation, one universe binds us. Suppose all Indians feel deeply that they belong to one great nation. Would they not love the whole of India? How could people then harbor separatist thoughts? Would they cheat their fellow countrymen? Would there be infighting or north south divide? The national spirit, which was so prevalent before independence, has gone. Politicians are working for their own political parties rather than for the nation. Some are using the political party for their national gain, individual gain alone. No wonder there is only division and discord. United we stand, divided we fall. We are losing our strength due to lack of this vision. Religious fanaticism and fights would cease if we focused on the commonalities rather than the differences. When differences are perceived, then one claims to be superior and other faiths are condemned and criticized. This aggravates tensions and conflicts, creates an unhealthy competition, power struggle, and so on. Families remain united due to a sattvic vision and break up in its absence. A sattvic vision binds, supports, holds together, and integrates all with love and service. An individual, family, society, or nation with this vision progresses and prospers. The consequence Rajasic vision. The Rajasic vision is divisive and disintegrating as it sees only differences and considers them alone to be important. Such people thrive on conflict and cannot bear to see others united and happy. Confusions and conflict within, quarrels in families, social injustice, and wars are all the result of such a vision. Some create conflicts with a profit motive. Wars, terrorist activities, communal riots, or religious uprisings are instigated at times to keep the weapon industry thriving. The British followed the policy of divide and rule to keep themselves in power. They created a strong divide between Hindus and Muslims, which finally led to the partition of the country. They twisted history to create the North South divide by calling North Indians Aryans who came to India from the Europe and imposed Vedic culture and philosophy on the Dravidians of the South. Such divisions become so deep rooted that it takes centuries to remove them from the psyche of the people. The Rajasic vision is mediocre and impure, and it results only in sorrow, agitation, anger, revenge, violence, and the like. The consequence tamasic vision. A person with a tamasic vision is attached to give importance to a finite thing or being, apart to the exclusion of all else, mistaking it to be the whole. For example, when a person is attached to his body alone, he becomes totally self centered and does not even care for his family. To satisfy bodily needs and provide it with maximum comforts becomes his sole aim of life. A person who feels money is everything in life spends his life in acquiring money, respects the rich alone, sacrifices relations and friends for the sake of money, and talks about it all the time. If a person gets attached to a limited political or religious ideology, he becomes a political or religious fanatic, and he may go to any extent to protect his ideology. Terrorist acts and suicide bombing are the result of such a vision. People with a narrow vision are intolerant and not open to others' opinions or thoughts. My God alone saves. Mine is the only path of salvation. Communism, capitalism, or any other ism is the only answer to all world problems. Such thoughts display a tamasic vision. An example from Ramayana. King Dasharatha was living happily with his three wives and four children. It was a beautiful, harmonious, and integrated family wherein all loved and served each other. There was peace and prosperity all over the kingdom. Manthara, Kaikeyi's maidservant, with her Rajasic vision, divided to create a division in the family by polluting Kaikeyi's mind. Initially, Kaikeyi refused to listen to her and maintained that Sri Ram was as dear to her as her own son Bharat. But Manthara was very clever, knowing that Kaikeyi's love for Sri Ram was strong. She created jealousy in her mind for Kausalya, saying that she would become more important if Sri Rama became the king. The seeds of division were sown, and Kaikeyi insisted that the kingdom be given to Bharata and Sri Ram be sent to the forest. The family got physically separated and unhappy. However, Sri Ram and Bharat had a sattvic vision. They acted in such a way that the whole family and kingdom remained together and integrated. Sri Ram readily agreed to go to the forest. As for him, whether Bharata ruled or he ruled was the same. Bharata, on the other hand, said that the kingdom belonged to Sri Ram and he would not take it. When Sri Ram insisted that Bharat return to the kingdom, he agreed to rule only as his representative. Sri Ram had no ill feelings for Kaikeyi and the family lived happily together after the period of exile. But their division caused sorrow to all and the death of King Dasharath. The Kauravas and Pandavas all belong to the Kuru dynasty. It was Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan who created the split and the resultant Mahabharat war. Another example, Bangladesh and Pakistan were part of India. Hindus and Muslims together fought for freedom from British rule. But for the Rajasic vision of a few Muslim leaders, India would still have remained one country. However, after partition and so many wars, the conflicts have not ended. A significant portion of our time, energies, and wealth is spent in protecting our border against each other. An integrated India would have been able to tackle the common problems if shared with Pakistan and Bangladesh of overpopulation, poverty, and the like in the better way with more resources available at its disposal. What keeps India together now is its rich spiritual heritage, culture, and its great natural and human resources. The great spiritual masters of India have always focused our attention on this common factor and inspired us towards higher and higher individual and national goals. Vision in action. Having understood the importance of a pure and holistic vision, We will now analyze how to actualize this vision. If I am not able to put my vision into action, what use is it to me? If a person having gone through the entire medical course and knowing everything about human anatomy, physiology, and medicine is unable to diagnose a disease, what use is his knowledge to him or the patient? What is needed is buddhi, the ability to analyze, understand, and rightly respond to the situation on hand. Types of buddhi. Buddhi too can be sattvic, pure, rajasic, impure, or tamasic, faulty. Sattvic buddhi. The Gita 18.30 says, प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च कार्ये भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेत्ति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी. That buddhi which clearly distinguishes between what to pursue and what to withdraw from, duty and non-duty, what to fear and fear not, and what is bondage and liberation, is considered sattvic. Pavitram pravrittim cha nivrittim. One should be able to understand in our day-to-day life what to pursue and what to avoid. For example, healthy food is to be taken, junk food to be avoided. Dogs may be petted, snakes best avoided. Sweets may be eaten by some, but better avoided by a diabetic patient. Karya akarya cha. We should know what our duties are and what does not fall into our duties. An accountant is authorized to write a check but not to sign it. The officer can sign it but may not be authorized to sanction the payment. A first year student of medicine is not allowed to treat a patient even if he has knowledge about various diseases. May, a citizen may catch the thief, but he has no right to punish him. Ignorance of law is no excuse for breaking it. It is important to understand clearly what are our duties and responsibilities. When an appointment letter is given, our job card clearly specifies what we are expected to do. Bhayam cha abhayam. We should understand clearly what we should do, what should be afraid of, what we should be afraid of, and where we should be fearless. We should be afraid of doing immoral activities. Some people fear only being caught doing wrong, but not the karmic, moral, and psychological consequences of wrong acts. However, we should not be afraid of doing good, of the insults of the wicked, standing up for the right, and the like. Bandham cha moksham. We should be able to clearly understand what constitutes bondage and liberation, what will result in sorrow, and what will give true happiness. For example, the ordinary person feels that discipline is bondage and to do whatever you feel like doing is freedom. The wise man knows that to do whatever you feel like doing is slavery to the mind. A life of discipline only makes a person free of such slavery. Puja Gurudev said, liberation is not freedom from action, but freedom in action. To run away or escape from action is not true freedom. To be mentally free even whilst doing action, is true freedom. Also, the wise man clearly sees the bondage in pleasure and comforts. Pujya Gurudev warned, comforts come as guests and stay to enslave you. Pleasures themselves become the womb of future sorrows. Dukkha yonaya evate. Rajasic Buddhi. The Gita 18.31 says, Yaya dharmam च कार्यं च कार्यमेव च अयथावत् प्रजानाति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ राजसी. That buddhi is rajasi, which does not clearly understand what is right or wrong, or what is duty and not duty. Such a person understands partially or vaguely, is always doubtful of his understanding, and often confused. Have we all not at some point written an answer in the exam, stricken it off, and written something else over it? Still not sure whether the first or the second was right. Should I go in for medicine or electronics? Should I marry or not? Is this morally right or wrong? The question to question oneself is fine, but to remain always confused, doubtful, or vague about such matters is not good. If we are unable to come to a firm conclusion of decision, then how can there be determination in action? Tamasic Buddhi. The Gita 18.32 says, Adharmam dharmamiti manyate tamasavruta sarvarthan viparitanscha buddhissa partha tamasi. That intellect is tamasic, which misunderstands everything, like considering unrighteous to be righteous and vice versa. This type of understanding is more prevalent in modern times. Many believe that honesty is not the best policy and that to take and give bribes is necessary for survival and progress. It is not that people were not dishonest in the past, but at least they knew the difference between right and wrong. So when they did wrong, they knew it was wrong. There was a sense of guilt. Then at least there is a chance of coming out of it. But when you think wrong alone is right, it is dangerous, as you will keep repeating the wrong and never come out of it. Duryodhan, however bad he was, knew what he did was wrong and that he was unable to come out of it. Janami dharmam nachame nivrittim nivrittihi. A tamasic buddhi manages to misunderstand even ordinary matters. Such people are very confident of their wrong notions and freely opine them. If they seek advice or confirmation from the wise, there is a chance of removing the wrong notion. Arjun, in the beginning of Mahabharat war, suddenly got deluded with the notion that the battle was unrighteous. He sought the advice of Sri Krishna and corrected his thinking. To summarize, the sattvic intellect clearly and rightly understands. The Rajasic intellect is vague, doubtful, or partially understands, and the Tamasic intellect misunderstands and misses the situation to be faced. To be victorious, we need both a sattvic vision and sattvic understanding. Facing obstacles. When we undertake any activity, we are bound to face obstacles. The most important quality required to face these obstacles is fortitude or patience, dhruti. Dhruti means to hold on, that is, patience, to hold on to the task in hand. Patience too is of three types: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Let us analyze these. Sattvic dhruti. The Gita 18.33 says, धृत्या यया धारयते मनः प्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः योगेन व्यभिचारिण्या धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी. Sattvic fortitude is that by which we hold all activities of the mind, vital airs, and senses unswervingly till we reach the goal. Consistent pursuit, even when the body and mind are tired, is true patience. To hold on to the activity in hand, even in the face of seemingly unsurmountable obstacles, is true patience. Some do not even start a task at the thought of obstacles. Many give up when faced with obstacles, whereas some feel challenged by obstacles enthusiastically and patiently face them to complete the task. Rajasic Dhruti. The Gita 18.34 says, Yaya tu dharma kamarthan dhrutya dharayate arjuna prasangena phalakankshi dhruti sa partha rajasi. Rajasic fortitude is that by which a person holds on to the goal occasionally or attaining dharma, wealth, or pleasure. People work tirelessly and patiently for years to attain them and hold on to them, being attached to money and pleasure. Highly ambitious people display such fortitude. They even have patience in matters of dharma like performance of rituals to accrue merits, wealth, or pleasure. Merits, wealth, or pleasures. Such patience comes into force occasionally to achieve specific goals and is not seen at other times. Some are very patient in business but very impatient at home. Students display great patience and discipline while studying for exams and then completely let go after exams. Tamasic Dhruti. The Gita 18.35 says, Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam madameva cha na vimunchati durmedha dhritissa partha tamasi. Tamasic fortitude is that by which a person holds on to daydreaming, entertaining baseless fears, grief, depression, arrogance, and wrong notions. Such people waste time in self pity, enjoying their sorrow, and talking endlessly about their grief, depression, imagined grievances, and irrational fears. They run to every person for succor, but not to come out of sorrow. Some go to quacks or palmists, palmists sitting on footpaths to rid their minds of fears. A great man said, Go to a noble soul not to know your future, but to learn how to make your future bright and beautiful. Some spend hours daydreaming and building castles in the air without any intention of putting anything into action. Such a person stubbornly holds on to wrong notions. To summarize, sattvic fortitude helps hold on to the task till it culminates into desired results despite obstacles. It is seen in all aspects of life all the time. Rajasic fortitude, being occasional, makes one ambitious but often frustrated and is displayed only to attain selfish goals. Tamasic fortitude is to hold on to wrong things and attain nothing much. True success comes only to the ones who have a sattvic fortitude, as it helps overcome all obstacles faced while completing the task. Great men have achieved excellence in their respective fields only with hard work and coupled with sattvic patience. Such achievers have benefited millions of others. Spiritual masters have attained enlightenment through sheer hard work and sattvic patience, which was then graced by the Lord. They in turn provided solace to millions and enlightenment to all true seekers. Happiness. What we all seek as a result of every effort is happiness. The final result is always measured in terms of happiness. Happiness is attained by habit or by practice, and it puts an end to sorrow, at least temporarily. Happiness too is of three kinds: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. What type do you want? Let us see. Sattvic happiness. The Gita 18.37 says, यत्तदग्रे विश्वमिव परिणामे मृतोपमं तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तमात्मबुद्धिः प्रसादजम्. Sattvic happiness is that which initially appears to be akin to poison, but ultimately is like nectar. If we are used to late nights, getting up at 6 a.m. to exercise or study is very difficult. But if we do wake up early and do such activities regularly, it results in longer lasting happiness. Sattvic happiness is born out of grace, blessings, and self knowledge. Generally, our mind is extrovert. We know well the joy of sense pleasures, but we do not know the joy possible in a mind which is pure, contemplative, and in meditation. If we get a taste of such joy, we will leave Rajasic and Tamasic joys. The glamour and charm of sense pleasures leaves us. When the very source of happiness is discovered in our heart, we can no longer be slaves of the world. We will no more be dependent on the world to derive happiness. Such happiness is seen in the life of great men like Sri Ramakrishna Paramahams, Sri Raman Maharshi, and Poojya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda. Despite their physical ailments, they remained ever blissful. But for this, one has to live a life of discipline. But for this, one has to live a life of discipline, regular spiritual practices, study of scriptures, meditation, and so on. These seem difficult but result in happiness. Rajasic happiness. The Gita 18.38 says, विषयेन्द्रियसंयोगात् यत्तदग्रे मृतोपमं परिणामे विषमिव तत्सुखं राजसं स्मृतम्. Rajasic happiness is that which arises out of contact between the sense organs and sense objects. It initially is like nectar but results in sorrow, like poison. Such happiness is dependent on many external factors like availability of the object, mood for enjoyment, and so on. Rajasic joy leads to greed, a glimpse of it to dissatisfaction, more of it to indulgence, repetition to addiction, loss of it to pain, and so on. Remember, no problems arise from realizing the source of true happiness within. None complains of too much happiness or boredom with eternal bliss. But one does get sick of sense pleasures, and the law of diminishing returns comes into play. Hence, even though there seems to be initial joy, Rajasic happiness is momentary, enslaving, and problematic. Tamasic happiness, the Gita 18.39 says, यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मनः निद्रालस्य प्रमादोत्थं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्. Tamasic happiness is that which deludes a person in the beginning and end and arises out of sleep, laziness, and forgetfulness. The joy of sleep is tamasic, but it is vital for us to get refreshed and rejuvenated. But the joy referred to here is that of a person who sleeps all the time, whose mind is always sleepy and dull. One is physical sleep, and the other is the sleep of ignorance from which people do not wish to awake. They declare that ignorance is bliss and wish to remain in it. One experiences the joy of being lazy, alasya, and postponing work. Some people remember their duties but do not do them. Some do not even remember them. Pramad. Some are quite proud of forgetting and give it as a seemingly valid excuse for not doing the task. Some revel in the joy of drinking, getting stoned, gambling, and so on. These habits completely delude one's mind, and such a person cannot achieve anything high or noble. In fact, the person suffers all the time but deludes himself into thinking that he is enjoying. There is no peace or inner satisfaction, no sense of achievement or success. To summarize, sattvic happiness appears difficult initially but results in lasting happiness and liberates like nectar. Rajasic, like poison, is it is its opposite and and tamasic dilutes and stops all progress. One with a sattvic vision, understanding, and fortitude surely gets sattvic happiness. Hanuman, the ideal, an ideal. Hanuman an ideal. Let us see a few aspects of Hanuman which will show us how the qualities we have discussed so far and others will help us to be truly victorious. Here is a beautiful episode from Ramayana. The background: Sri Ram, Sita, and Lakshman were in exile. They moved from Chitrakoot to Dandak forest and finally to Panchavati, where Ravan kidnapped Sita. He took her to the Ashok Vatika in Lanka. Sri Ram and Lakshman began searching for Sita. They met and befriended Sugriv and Hanuman. Sugriv sent thousands of monkeys in every direction in search for Sita, even though he knew that Lanka was in the south. He did not want to take any chance, knowing Ravana's deceptive ways. He chose the best team to go to the south. Jambavan was the team manager, Wali's son Angad the captain, and many great warriors like Nale and Nil were team members, and of course, there was Hanuman. The team finally reached the ocean. The sea stretched 800 miles between them and Lanka. They were anxiously pondering how to reach the other side. The 1 month time period to search and report back was over. If they did not return soon, they would be killed, dejected, and sad. They sat ready to fast and die. The vision of the elders. Sampati, the wise old vulture, sat nearby, happy at the decision of the monkeys to die. He would indeed get a big feast soon. The monkeys started talking about Sita being kidnapped, Jatayu's bravery in fighting Ravana, Sri Ram's search for Sita, and so on. Listening to the news of his brother Jatayu's valor and death, Sampati was sad yet heartened that he had died fighting for a noble cause and was finally blessed by the Lord himself. Sampati was told that he would develop new wings when he saw the servants of the Lord, and he actually did so. Now he too wanted to help search for Sita, but being too old, could not fly to Lanka. However, with his telescopic vision, he could see Sita in Ashok Vatika. He could not help anymore. Now it was up to the monkeys to go to Lanka and confirm what he saw. See her condition, give her Sri Ram's message, give her solace, and bring back her message to Sri Ram. They would be physically strong with the right vision. Who would be physically strong with the right vision, understanding, and patience to accomplish this daunting task? Sampati reminded them that one who crosses the ocean would also need tremendous faith, remembering the name of the Lord. Even sinners were able to cross the ocean of samsara. Since they were serving the Lord and they were not sinners, would it not be possible for them to cross over the ocean by remembering Him? He exhorted them to be fearless and accomplished their task with faith, saying thus, he departed. So, what was required was physical strength, intelligence, fortitude, faith, and courage. We have seen the importance of the rest. Now, let us see the power of faith. Power of faith. The Lord alone accomplishes His mission. The Lord gives us a chance to participate. We should feel privileged to get such a chance. Having given us a chance, He also empowers us with the necessary strength and intelligence to accomplish the task. He should not worry on that account. He knows best how to get his work accomplished. Even in the secular world, we see examples of this. When a company sends an employee on deputation, does it not take care of all the arrangements of its representative? Does the country not take care of its ambassadors sent to another country? One should not doubt that the Lord takes care of all who are in His service. We have faith only in secular matters and things which are gross and visible. We should have also have faith and see how He takes care of everything. Let me share this personal incident with you. After Poojya Gurudev's Mahasamadhi, when I was made the head of the Chinmaya mission, I was asked if I was fit for the role. I felt, I know I am not fit for the task, but since He has given me this task, He will make me fit. The Lord's grace and Guru's blessings can make anything possible. We must have faith. When we depend on a person, the work may or may not be accomplished. When our attention shifts away from Him, our efforts may be frustrated. When we depend on Him alone, He accomplishes everything. Now let us move on. Sampati departed. The monkeys heard him partially. They felt that one who crosses the ocean will accomplish the task. They forgot about the other virtues needed. Angada asked each one to declare what he could accomplish. Jambavan said he was too old and could have crossed over if he were young. Angad said he could manage to cross over but was not confident of returning. Each was only looking at his own limited strength. They forgot that they were engaged in Sri Ram's service and that his strength would accomplish the task. The same Angad had a completely different attitude when he later went on the Lord's messenger as Lord's messenger to meet Ravana. He put his foot down and challenged anyone to budge it. He even said that Ravan could keep Sita if anyone could do so. None could touch him. This was because of his complete faith and attitude of surrender to Sri Ram. Hanuman was sitting quietly all the time. Since the discussion was on an individual's strength, he did not say anything since he believed he had no strength of his own. Jambavan asked him why he did not speak up even though he was the strongest and had all the other qualities like intelligence and fortitude to accomplish the task. He still did not respond to the personal praise. Jambavan then reminded Hanuman that the purpose of his birth was to serve Sri Ram. That did the trick. Immediately Hanuman arose and declared that he would not only cross the ocean but bring back Sita also. Jambavan told him that his job was to convey the message and bring back her message. The rest would be accomplished by Sri Ram himself. Hanuman immediately curbed his over enthusiasm. and respectfully asked permission to proceed. He jumped across the ocean and returned, accomplishing all that was to be done in a beautiful manner to the satisfaction of all. This shows that the youth have the strength and dynamism, and the elders have the experience and wisdom. Both must work together to succeed in any task. Both must work together to succeed in any task. The youth should seek the advice of the elders, and they in turn should acknowledge the strength and virtues of the youth. Hanuman's faith and virtues made him victorious. We too must have such unshakable faith, not only in personal matters but also in accomplishing mission work. Many feel demeaned if in asking for donations or offended when refused. We are not asking for personal reasons but for the cause of the mission. Then why should we take personal offense? Hanuman was willing to do anything in the service of the Lord. When needed, he assumed a gigantic form and on another occasion a tiny form. Sometimes he led the monkeys, and at other times he remained in the background. He was all the time aware of the goal and his role. We must draw our inspiration from this great ideal. Plan of work, plan of action. Puja Gurudev said, plan out your work and then work out your plan. In any task, there are three stages: planning, mobilizing, and resources, and accomplishing the plan. Planning, mobilizing resources, and accomplishing the plan. Planning. The first step is very important. One should not plunge into action without thinking. It leads to chaos. Sugriv spotted Ravan strolling on his terrace. He got so carried away that he attacked him straight away. Sugriv was no match for Ravan. Sugriv somehow managed to return safely to Sri Ram. Even though Sri Ram praised him for his devotion, he also chided him for his hasty action, which could have great caused great harm and would have damaged the morale of the entire army. He emphasized that it was important to plan the strategy to attack first and then act, and not the reverse. While planning, one's objective should be very clear. A person willing to serve the village poor by giving medical help need not become a super specialist in the field for which specialist infrastructure is unavailable in a village. Some Indians go to USA for higher studies on a student visa with the aim of returning after studying. Thereafter, they get a green card, then a citizenship, marry, raise children, and then want to come back to discover their roots. Are they clear what they want in the first place? If so, it is alright. We should think carefully about the consequences of our action and the time, effort, and resources required before undertaking an action. Having started on a course of action, sometimes it is not possible to go back, even if we realize the flaw in the action or goal. Mobilization of resources. The human and material resources required for the task must be mobilized. All that is required may not be available initially, but with proper planning, the resources must be made available as required in each stage of the project. If you have decided to study in foreign universities, arrange for funds or some scholarships to see you through the course. Actualizing the plan. Once you have planned and gathered the necessary wherewithal, start the work. Do not delay, hesitate, or dilly dally. Face each day's challenges as they come. Keep the ultimate goal in mind all the time and achieve all intermediate goals with full effort and enthusiasm. Draw your inspiration from the goal but remain focused in the pursuit. Ultimate and intermediate goals. While planning, be clear what your ultimate goal is. That has to be noble and inspiring. All intermediate activities and goals must be set to align with the ultimate goal. One may choose to have self realization as one's ultimate goal. For this, one needs to have a pure, subtle, and concentrated mind. One then needs to undertake selfless action, study of the scriptures, and practice of japa in order to achieve this. Each activity achieves a specific objective which takes one towards one's ultimate goal. Similarly, the ultimate goal of the Chinmaya mission is the inner transformation of the individual. Various activities are undertaken with specific objectives. The Bal Vihars are meant for inculcating good values in children. The Yuva Kendra to prepare the youth for greater achievements in life by reaching them the art of right thinking, by teaching them the art of right thinking. The study classes are meant for study and reflection of the scriptures in order to live the knowledge learnt. In and through all these activities, the ultimate goal of individual transformation should not be forgotten. To summarize, to be successful, plan out the work, keeping the ultimate and intermediate goals in mind. Think well about the consequences and requirements of the task. Mobilize the resources and actualize your plan. The result success. How to measure success? There are many who think of themselves as failures because they do not know how to measure success. In the initial stage of the task, they expect the final result. Then they despair and lose heart. We decide to do meditation. We get up early and sit for half an hour and despair that we were unable to meditate. The very fact that we have got up early, which we never could, can still for half an hour in a single posture, which we never could, is an achievement in itself. So we should measure our achievements too in steps. We should evaluate whether the specific purpose of our action is achieved. We will then find ourselves slowly progressing towards our ultimate goal. However, the final goal should not be abandoned, and the intermediate goal itself should not be considered as the final. External and internal results. The external results of actions are seen and quantifiable. The student gets marks and degrees. The internal result is the love for that subject, the knowledge and proficiency gained, or the joy and fulfillment in studying. This internal aspect is subjective and is known only to the individual. Success and confidence. Every achievement increases our confidence. Confidence increases our determination and effort, which in turn attributes to higher aspirations and greater achievements. Our success in climbing a small peak gives us confidence to attempt higher ones. Success begets greater success. On attaining a smaller or intermediate goal, one should not sit back but aim and work for higher goals. Benefit to society. Success should be measured by how much it has benefited society. Has the individual's achievement contributed to the welfare of others, and to what extent? One's personal growth in terms of inner unfoldment, cultivation of values and virtues, too benefits all. By my thoughts, words, and deeds, am I making others happy or unhappy? Being cheerful and happy also makes others happy. Therefore, success is measured primarily by how much one has grown within, and the society has benefited and prospered without. A success story. Poojya Gurudev. Let us see Poojya Gurudev's life. He was born in Kerala in 1916. He completed his graduation, thereafter went to Lucknow and did his post graduation. He plunged into the freedom movement and also pursued a course in journalism. He went to Shivananda ashram to find out what sannyasis were up to. He realized then how different was their life. They led a life of contemplation, study, and selfless service. He was so inspired that he lived in the ashram himself and got initiated into sannyas. He thereafter went to Uttarkashi and studied the scriptures in depth under Swami Maharaj. His contemplation and meditation led him to realize what he had studied. This greatness his greatness was that he verified the truth for himself and thereafter decided that he must share this knowledge with all his countrymen. He had a grand vision and a beautiful plan which unfolded in time, benefiting millions. He wished that all seekers of truth, irrespective of their background, should be benefited. To make people aware of this great knowledge, he started by giving discourses throughout India and later all around the world. He brought the knowledge of Upanishads and Gita to the masses. No one had done so before in such a mass scale. For those who were serious seekers, he started study classes. He knew that the lifespan of an individual would be insufficient in spreading the knowledge to every nook and corner of the country. So he started the Sandibani Sadhanalayas where many hundred got trained and started spreading the knowledge. He did not bind the trained teachers, acharyas, to his organization as he knew that wherever they went, they would only be spreading this knowledge. His aim was to help people transform themselves by their great knowledge and the various activities of the mission. Different people have different inclinations, and so though spiritual, social, cultural, and through spiritual, social, cultural, educational, and grassroots level activities, Bal Vihar, study classes, Yuva Kendra, and the various projects, research foundations, hospitals. He aimed to transform the individual. He himself was an inspired person and he inspired countless to join in his grand vision. He was able to uplift the ordinary man's vision to his enlightened vision. An individual becoming great is great, no doubt, but to inspire and make others great is real greatness. He did all this without any attachment. We meet people all around the world who having met him even once or twice or even for a few moments have got transformed. Many others who have not even met him but have associated themselves with the mission's activities have transformed. He has directly and indirectly touched the lives of so many the world over. What to talk of us who were fortunate enough to see him and be with him at close quarters. What a joy it was being with him. Even his remembrance fills us with such joy. His was a truly successful life. As a student, he was like any one of us. He transformed his life and the life of so many. He planned out his work and worked out his plan. He himself was fulfilled and he fulfilled all around him. He worked hard with great enthusiasm, a great sattvic vision, a sharp sattvic understanding, great sattvic patience, and the faith that it was the work of the Lord Himself. When one once asked what would happen to the mission after him, he said, "It is He who runs it now. He would continue to do so if He wills it." There is so much to learn from his life, his vision, and his work. He created this great mission for us to grow and transform. And at another instant, when asked what would happen after him, he said, "I did what I thought was right. If others feel the same way, they will continue the work. I have done my bit to the best of my ability. Rest is left to them. Some are born great, some made great. Some are born great. Prahlad and Shukadev were born realized masters. Others like Adi Shankaracharya, Sant Jnaneshwar, Bhagavan Raman Maharshi, and Swami Tapovan Maharaj sought the highest truth right from their childhood in every field like science, art, or politics. We find such examples. Beethoven was a child prodigy. The lives of such people are very inspiring and we should read about them. Some are born ordinary and grow up without any spectacular achievements, but at some point of their life, transformation happens. Mahatma Gandhi was an ordinary barrister but became a Mahatma. Valmiki and Angulimal, on the other hand, led a criminal life but got transformed to become worthy of reverence. What made them great? Some incident in their lives transformed them. It acted as a trigger to either bring out their latent inner talents, thinking, or calling. It made them think deeply and change the very course of their lives. It made them discover a new purpose to live to their life, which manifested their inner potential. The Buddha saw an old sick man and a dead body, and he renounced the world. All of them had a person or a goal that inspired them, like their mother, father, guru, or freedom for the country. Mothers play a very important role. They bear the child in the womb for 9 months, and whatever she eats, thinks, and feels is transferred to the child. So, there is a great responsibility on the woman folk. Shivaji, Gandhiji, Swami Vivekananda, and the like were greatly influenced by their mothers. All great men had a great vision and served a great cause. It is important whom we serve. Hanuman initially was only in the service of Sugriv. No greatness manifested then. It was only when he started serving Sri Ram that he was transformed and became great and worshipful. So, never miss a chance to serve a great person or a great cause. It will surely transform us. Puja Gurudev was great and he has given us a great cause to serve. We are indeed fortunate to get this opportunity to transform ourselves. A truly great person is great in all aspects of his or her life. Some are successful professionally but miserable in personal life. A great person is great in every little thing he or she does. It is revealed in his walking, talking, eating, and so on. Greatness is his very nature and hence is seen all the time. Take charge of your life. When you were children, you could say that your parents were responsible for everything you did. It is they who decided which school you went to, what you ate and wore. But once you have grown, now you go to colleges and universities, you can no longer hold your parents responsible for everything. Stop blaming your parents, or for that matter, everybody, for everything that goes wrong in your life. You say your parents do not understand you. Do you understand yourself fully? Possibly not. They too may not understand you fully, but they do understand you to a great extent and will support you also, provided you show consistency of purpose and produce results in whatever you undertake. Simply being adamant, irresponsible, and inconsistent will not foster their confidence in you. Can you then blame them for their lack of trust in you? The question often asked by youngsters is, but what should I do? This is not a new problem. It has always existed in the past and will exist in the future also. As children, we change our interests frequently, guided or misguided by the latest fads. Many desire to become bus conductors, policemen, pilots, teachers, and so on, depending on whom they admire at different stages in life. Swami Vivekananda desired to be a Tongawala, a horse cart driver, as a boy. As we enter high school and college, our interests very often change. Many choices open up for us. How can we make the right choice? You will notice that amongst all your interests, the subject for which you have a natural aptitude will interest you the most. It will overshadow all others. You willingly give up other interests in its favor, and you feel that pursuing it is your inner call. You know what you want to do. Consistency and determination will follow automatically. Discover this natural aptitude and pursue it. But what if one is unable to do so? Then follow this simple technique. Note down all your talents and interests, choose any one of them, and pursue it consistently. You will in time grow to love it and become proficient in it. Take responsibility for your life. Make a start from wherever you are. You will reach great heights. Have faith in yourself. If you have enough faith and determination, you will get support and guidance too. Everybody has to face some obstacle or the other, whatever one may choose to pursue. There may be some who criticize and discourage you. Do not get angry with them. If you do not get support and encouragement from one quarter, you will get it from another. Learn to enjoy your work. If your job is a joy, then life becomes joy filled. Do not let fear of failure be an obstacle in the pursuit of your goals. If you are afraid of failing, you will never attain anything. Stop complaining, hunting for excuses, seeking sympathy, blaming others, cursing fate, reveling in self pity, and so on. Take charge of your life. Lift yourself by yourself is the call for of the Gita. Take charge of your life. That is your destiny and your goal. Imparting words. Parting words. Many tell me that the time spent in the camp was joyous. They are worried that such a mood will not be maintained when they go back to their normal routine. What is it that makes you happy in the camp? If you become conscious of that, it is possible to incorporate it in your life and remain happy. You are living a life of discipline. You are following the regular routine for waking early and doing things on time. Your thoughts remain elevated and inspired by the classes and sessions. All of us have a common goal and all work towards it. Occasions of manifesting or entertaining negative thoughts like jealousy, anger, and passion do not arise. There are no distractions like televisions, iPods, or computers. Virtues like selfless service, discrimination, love, compassion have occasion to manifest and blossom. We look within rather than at others and aspire to improve ourselves. We are able to review our life in its totality and that too more objectively. Now, even if you cannot take back the external surroundings, carry back the knowledge and way of life with you. Live a life of discipline, be regular in your secular and spiritual studies, do some spiritual practices like japa, puja, or meditation regularly. Develop love for God. Have faith in Him. Remove all negativities from Him within. If you get angry with someone, go and touch his or her feet and apologize. Regret deeply and take up a penance for any wrong done. Give up something you like each time you do something wrong so that you do not do it again. Beautify your personality. Your inner beauty is reflected in the smiling faces of others around you. Practice and share all that you have learnt. Organize talks and classes by which you can share this knowledge and through informal talks with friends and relatives. Let your family not complain that you are neglecting them. Become more responsible and accountable in your household duties as well. The family should not feel that the mission has made them irresponsible or disrespectful towards them. If they complain despite your best efforts, it is a different matter. Be like sugar. It is not seen but imparts sweetness when mixed with any liquid. Be happy and make others happy. If you follow all that you have learnt, you shall surely become victorious youth. You can, you must. Om Tat Sat. Sutras for success. Respect, don't suspect. Be tender towards the faults of others. Be strict towards your own. Respect a person for what he is rather than what he has. If you don't stand for something, you fall for everything. Don't tell God how big your trouble is. Tell the trouble how big your God is. Think big, act wisely, and show results. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha.